Hello everybody, my name is Evan, founder and CEO of Gentatech. In this video, we're going to go through the process of configuring a site-to-site VPN utilizing IPsec inside of pfSense. On the left side of my screen here, I have a pfSense firewall. On the right side of my screen, this is a completely separate device, which is another pfSense firewall, represents a device at another location. To reach the area that I'm at in the GUI, you want to click on VPN and then hit IPsec. Now remember, when we are building an IPsec tunnel, all of the networking information is going to be the same on both devices. It's essentially just going to be flipped. It's going to be mirrored. Because of that, I'm going to configure both devices at the same time so you can see how the information changes from one device to another. So let's go ahead and edit phase one and get started. First thing that we want to do here is give a description. I'll just name this VM1. I'll do P1 for phase one. Same thing in here, VPN VM2 for this one. For key exchange version, we'll go ahead and keep this to version 2. This gives you an option between auto version 1 and version 2, as you can see here. Version 2 is the newest, and we'll keep it there. Internet protocol will be IPv4, and the interface will keep the WAN, okay? So the remote gateway is going to take the public IP address of the opposite box, so the firewall that you're connecting to, okay? So the IP address of the firewall on the right will go here. Likewise, on the right side, the IP address of the firewall on the left will go there, okay? For the authentication method, mutual pre-shared key is great. So for identifier, this is going to depend on how you're receiving your internet from your ISP. Okay, if you're receiving a static IP on both devices, you will actually leave this as is. It'll be my IP address and peer IP address, and everything will be good to go. For this particular demo, these devices are sitting inside of Azure. Both of these firewalls are. So that means they're NATed. So I need to put the private IP address attached to the WAN interface inside of Azure in these spaces. So I will go ahead and change this to IP address on this side. And I'll do the same on this side. So I'll go ahead and enter that information in. What am I here? I think I'm 113. And I believe I'm 50 on this one, okay? So now it's going to be the exact same thing, right? It's just going to be flipped, okay? The identifier for this particular box is going to be the remote identifier on this one, and the remote identifier on this box is going to be the actual identifier on that one. It's just going to be opposite. When it comes to pre-shared key, you want something secure. Do not make it short, and obviously protect it. Bad things can happen if that is not the case. We will depend on pfSense to generate this for us. We'll click Generate Key, and it'll do so. Now, if you utilize copy and paste, just be aware here that blank characters, spaces, anything like that will cause a failed connection. So make sure it's the exact same on both sides, okay? For our encryption algorithm, this is where you're getting to the point where you really should truly consult the documentation on the opposing firewall, especially if it's not pfSense, to ensure that you're choosing options that are even available on the other firewall. Some firewalls are a little bit older and don't have all options available. And in addition to that, the security implications here are humongous, especially if you have any compliance requirements. So also consult your internal documentation, your IT policies, and make sure what you're picking here is something conducive to your business goals. With that said, we're going to go ahead and jump this up to 256. We will keep the hash as is, and I like to use Diffie-Hellman Group 19. Very fast, modern, and secure. Okay, 19 is not available on all boxes either, so kind of keep that in mind. Again, 256 here. We'll keep the hash as is, and we'll hop this up to 19. Okay, and that's all for P1. A lot of this information down here is important, and as far as how it will function, reconnect, failures, delays, but that is not needed in order to get the connection going, which is what this video is about. So we'll go ahead and apply and apply. Now we have phase 2 on both sides, okay? So we'll go ahead and start it there. Phase 2, and same thing here. So we'll do VPN, VM1, we'll do P2 for phase 2, and just switch this to VM2, all right? Now under networks, this is going to be the subnet or specific host that the opposing firewall has access to. So the firewall on the right will have access to whatever subnet or host that we put inside of this area here. So in this case, we're going to give the box on the right access to the subnet that this pfSense box is sitting on on the left. Oftentimes this is a management subnet, sometimes it's not. It completely depends on what the business goals are, okay? And same thing here. The remote network is going to be the network that we have access to. On the other side, we're going to do the same thing and make this the network that is holding the pfSense box on the right side. Now, as I said earlier, all information is the same. It's essentially just flipped. So the local network on this box is going to be the remote network here. And the remote network on this box is going to be the local one there. And make sure these are at networks. This one's at address still, if we're sharing a whole entire subnet, which we are in this particular use case, and crank that up to 24, okay? For protocol, we're going to use ESP. That's the most secure. This is another area where you really want to check the documentation because your opposing firewall has to have the option available. When it comes to pfSense, GCM is available. I'm going to select that and click AES 256. When we select AES 256 with GCM, when we select GCM in general, we don't have to choose a hash algorithm. I'm going to kick this up to 128 bits though, just like so, okay? And for a key group, I'm going back to group 19 again. That's my preference, okay? And that's all that we need in terms of getting this up and running. Again, more options between automatic ping, keep alive, things like that we'll look at down the road, but this is just strictly about how to get these connections up and running. So now that that is fully built out, we want to go ahead and go to status, and we can check on the status and start this connection. Give that a second to connect, and we are up and running, okay? The last thing that we want to look at here is making sure that you edit the rules on your firewall to make sure that traffic is being passed correctly. So that tunnel is up and it's connected and it's good to go, but you still need the particular rules on your firewall so that traffic can reach where it needs to go. To do that, you'll go ahead and click on firewall, click on rules, and now you will have an IPsec section here, so you can go ahead and edit that and send that where it needs to go. So that's how you get that up and running. Again, when it comes to doing this and deploying this in real life, especially in a business case, you always want to check your IT policies. If you have any type of compliance requirements, that's a completely different story. Your algorithms need to be the right way. Your authentication method needs to be the right way. So there's a lot that goes into it. But in terms of just being hands-on and getting this done and getting this up and running, that is how that will look. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@gentetech.com. I appreciate you watching the video. Bye.